How did two brothers from a tiny village in rural Ireland, who never even went to university, end up creating a tech giant worth nearly $100 billion? This isn't a fairy tale. It's the incredible true story of Patrick and John Collison, the masterminds behind Stripe. Their journey from teenage coding prodigies to Silicon Valley titans is one of genius, grit, and a revolutionary idea that would forever change the landscape of online commerce. Let's rewind to the late 1980s in Dromineer, Ireland, a place far removed from the bustling tech hubs of the world. This is where Patrick Collison was born. Growing up, he wasn't your typical kid. While others were playing outside, Patrick was devouring books and teaching himself how to code. By age 16, he had already won Ireland's Young Scientist of the Year award for creating his own programming language. Think about that for a second. Most of us at 16 were just trying to pass our driving tests, and this kid was inventing a new way for computers to talk. His younger brother John was no different. A certified genius in his own right, John followed in Patrick's footsteps, acing his exams and diving headfirst into the world of technology. The brothers weren't just smart, they were builders. They saw problems and immediately started thinking about how to solve them with code. Their first big venture wasn't Stripe. It was a company called Automatic. While studying at MIT, Patrick, along with John, saw how difficult it was for sellers on eBay to manage their auctions, so they built a solution. They created software that streamlined the entire process. This wasn't just a school project. It was a legitimate business. They joined the prestigious Y Combinator startup accelerator, and within a year, they sold Automatic for a cool $5 million. Patrick was just 19 years old. They were officially teenage millionaires. For most people, that would be the end of the story. They could have retired, lived a life of luxury, and never worked another day. But the Collison brothers weren't most people. They had a much bigger problem they wanted to solve. After selling Automatic, they realized just how painfully difficult it was to accept payments online. The existing systems were clunky, outdated, and required weeks of paperwork and complex integration. It was a huge barrier for anyone trying to start an online business. They saw an opportunity where others only saw frustration. What if accepting online payments could be as simple as embedding a few lines of code? This simple question was the spark that ignited Stripe. In 2010, with their combined intellect and newfound capital, they started building. Their vision was clear: create a developer-first platform that would make online payments seamless, secure, and accessible to everyone, from a solo entrepreneur to a massive corporation. Their approach was radically different. Instead of focusing on complicated banking partnerships and red tape, they focused on the user experience, specifically the developer's experience. They obsessed over creating clean, elegant code and simple, powerful APIs. They believed that if they made it incredibly easy for developers to build with their tools, the businesses would follow. And they were right. The early days of Stripe were a whirlwind. The brothers worked tirelessly, coding day and night, personally handling customer support calls and emails. They were building not just a product, but a culture of relentless problem-solving and customer obsession. They recruited a small, brilliant team who shared their vision. Word started to spread through the developer community like wildfire. This new company, Stripe, was a game-changer. Suddenly, startups that had struggled for months to set up payment processing could get up and running in minutes. Companies like Lyft, Shopify, and Kickstarter were early adopters, and their success became Stripe's success. Stripe wasn't just a payment processor. It was an engine for the internet economy. It was empowering a new generation of entrepreneurs to build and scale their businesses online, without the traditional financial hurdles. But the journey wasn't without its challenges. The world of finance is notoriously complex and heavily regulated. The Collison brothers had to navigate a labyrinth of international banking laws, compliance requirements, and intense competition from established giants like PayPal. They weren't just building technology. They were building a global financial infrastructure from the ground up. How did they do it? Through sheer intellect and an unyielding focus on their mission. Patrick, as CEO, became the visionary strategist, constantly looking ahead at the future of commerce and steering the company through uncharted waters. John, as president, focused on partnerships and operations, building the global network that would allow Stripe to operate in dozens of countries. They maintained their humble, low-key demeanor even as their company's valuation skyrocketed into the billions. They are known for their voracious reading habits, often recommending books on economics, history, and science to their employees. They fostered a culture of deep thinking and intellectual curiosity, believing that the best solutions come from understanding problems from first principles. What truly sets Patrick and the Stripe story apart is their ambition. They weren't content with just simplifying payments. They expanded their product suite to include tools for everything from managing subscriptions and preventing fraud to issuing corporate cards and providing business financing. Their goal evolved from increasing the GDP of the internet to building the fundamental economic infrastructure for it. Think of it like this. If the internet is a new country, Stripe is building its roads, its power grid, and its banking system. They are creating the foundational layer upon which millions of other businesses can be built. This grand vision attracted top talent and massive investments from Silicon Valley's most respected firms, including Sequoia Capital and Andreessen Horowitz. By 2021, Stripe's valuation had soared to $95 billion, making Patrick and John Collison two of the wealthiest self-made billionaires. In the world before the age of 35, they had achieved a level of success that few could even dream of, all from an idea born out of personal frustration. The story of Patrick Collison is a powerful lesson in what's possible when brilliance meets relentless execution. It shows that you don't need a traditional path, a business degree, or a fancy background to change the world. You need to identify a real painful problem, have the courage to tackle it, and the tenacity to see it through. From a small village in Ireland to the pinnacle of global finance, Patrick Collison didn't just build a company. He built the engine for a new digital economy. His journey from a teenage coder to a tech revolutionary is a testament to the power of a simple idea, executed flawlessly.